In 1969, a police sedan weighing over 2 tons hit 147 miles per hour on Chrysler's test track. The problem is, it wasn't even the most powerful car on this list. The 1960s were a decade when Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler threw themselves into a real arms race fought out in state police procurement contracts. Every manufacturer wanted the biggest engine, the highest horsepower, stuffed under the hood of a sedan that looked like nothing special. This list runs from 315 horsepower out of a brand nobody expects all the way up to 425 horsepower on paper from a name most people know well. But out of all 10 cars, only one was ever actually taken to a track to prove its top speed for real. So which one was truly the fastest American police car of the 1960s? Let's start this list with the name almost nobody sees coming, AMC. American Motors was never a big player in the police car business. Kenosha, Wisconsin doesn't exactly sound like Detroit, but by 1969, the company still had its own answer to this arms race, and it was called the Ambassador. On the outside, the 1969 Ambassador wore AMC's typical full-size look, square lines, light on chrome, nothing flashy. At a glance, it looked more like a family sedan than a speed machine, and a car nobody suspects turns out to be exactly what police departments wanted most. Under the hood sat the AMX 390 cubic inch V8, producing anywhere from 315 to 325 horsepower depending on the year and tune. This was the most powerful engine AMC had ever put into production up to that point, originally built for the AMX sports car before it made its way into the Ambassador lineup. Only 5,672 Ambassadors left the factory in 1969 with the 390, and AMC never broke down how many of those actually went to police departments, because the company simply never kept that kind of record. But the proof is out there, even if it's thin. A 390-powered Ambassador that once served the Nevada State Police turned up at auction years later, confirming this engine really did patrol the streets and wasn't just something printed in a brochure. Mercury was never seen as a law enforcement brand. While Ford leaned on the Custom and Galaxy, Mercury usually got boxed in as the upscale, smooth riding option for long highway cruising. But underneath that luxury full-size shell, the company was hiding something strong enough for pursuit duty. The engine of choice was the 428 cubic inch V8 Q-Code built on Ford's Police Interceptor platform. Factory ratings sat around 340 horsepower, with some carburetor configurations reaching as high as 360. The California Highway Patrol ran the Monterey as its official patrol car for exactly 1 year in 1970, using the 4-barrel 428 setup. Out of 2,876 units built, only 1,820 went to the CHP. After that year, the agency went right back to more familiar names. In Missouri, the story played out a little differently. The State Highway Patrol ran Monterey 428s as its primary vehicle, and at least one restored example still survives today as a tribute to that brief window when Mercury made its way into police work. Before 1966, Ford had an awkward problem in the police car business. Its most powerful engine, the 427 cubic inch V8, was considered unsuitable for pursuit work, too aggressive and too hard to maintain for everyday duty. So for years, the best Ford could offer was the 390, and that's part of why Chrysler dominated the police car market through the first half of the decade. Everything changed once the 428 Police Interceptor arrived. This was the full-size custom sedan, boxy body, stripped-down interior, exactly the kind of no-frills look you'd expect from a government fleet car. But under the hood sat an engine built specifically for law enforcement, rated at 360 horsepower with 459 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 revolutions per minute. For a heavy sedan, That torque number mattered more than the horsepower figure on paper. It didn't deliver the kind of punch you'd feel in a drag car. Instead, it gave steady, generous pulling power right from low RPM, exactly what a patrol car needed to hold highway speed for hours at a time. The original solid lifter 428 Police Interceptor only lasted a single year, 1966, before Ford switched to a hydraulic lifter version for the following model years. A small detail, but one that has collectors today hunting down each version separately. Before the 440 became legendary, Chrysler had another engine quietly laying the groundwork for an entire police car philosophy. That engine was the 413 cubic inch RB, found in Dodge and Plymouth models sold under the shared Interceptor name from 1962 through 1965. Factory output was rated at 380 gross horsepower, a significant number compared to what Ford and GM were offering at the same time. These sedans carried the sharp, angular styling Chrysler favored in the early 60s, a sharp contrast to the softer, rounded look GM preferred. Under the frame sat a front torsion bar suspension, an engineering choice that helped the car hold its line through corners at high speed, something plenty of competitors at the time were still struggling to figure out. That suspension setup, paired with the strong 413, created a formula Chrysler would carry forward almost unchanged into the bigger engines that followed. Plenty of state police departments favored these 413 Interceptors, specifically because of that combination of engine power and chassis durability, more than for any officially published top speed. Later on, once the 440 arrived, the 413's legacy got somewhat overshadowed. But this was the car that laid the first brick in what became nearly 2 decades of Chrysler dominance in the police car business. 3 carburetors on a police sedan sounds more like a drag racer than a patrol car, but that's exactly what Pontiac put on the market in 1963. This Catalina was part of Pontiac's Enforcer package, wearing the boxy styling typical of GM in the early 60s. On the outside, it carried almost no badging or trim that hinted at what was underneath, a deliberate choice meant to keep its identity hidden while on duty. At its heart was the 421 cubic inch V8, running Pontiac's signature tri-power setup of 3 two-barrel carburetors. Factory output was listed anywhere from 370 to 375 gross horsepower depending on the source, with 460 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 revolutions per minute. There was also a 421 Super Duty version built by Royal Pontiac strictly for racing, one that ran the quarter mile in 12.38 seconds at 116 miles per hour at Detroit Dregway. But that was a lightened, deeply modified race car, nothing like the stock Catalina running daily patrol duty. Even so, in its stock configuration, the 421 Tri-Power was still strong enough to put Pontiac among the most formidable names in police car horsepower for the mid-1960s. In 1967, Pontiac rolled out an updated Catalina, and this time, the horsepower number climbed even higher than the 421 Tri-Power before it. The 1967 Catalina wore a new grille and slightly softer lines compared to the 1963 generation, but it kept the same full-size heft, and it stayed under the familiar Enforcer badge, staying just as understated on the outside as most police cars of the era. This time, the engine was the 428 cubic inch HO, factory rated at 376 gross horsepower, higher than the previous 421 Tri-Power, despite running just a single carburetor instead of 3. Pontiac actually ran a full-blown marketing push aimed directly at police departments during this period, something not many people realize today. By 1965, the company offered 5 different police car options across 2 chassis sizes. Everything from the 140 horsepower 6-cylinder Tempest for city patrol duty up to the top-tier Catalina Super Enforcer with the 421. Compared to Ford and Chrysler, Pontiac was never the first name that came to mind for American police cars in the 1960s, but with a lineup that broad, The company clearly invested far more seriously than history tends to give it credit for. Oldsmobile never found the same success in the police car business as Ford, Chevrolet, or Plymouth, but there was one brief year when the company genuinely went toe-to-toe with Dodge. The Delmont 88 carried Oldsmobile's signature split grille from the late 60s, wrapped around the kind of large full-size body police departments favored at the time. A 1968 interview in Speed and Supercar magazine quoted an Oldsmobile test engineer explaining why both city and highway police wanted bigger, heavier cars since more weight meant a smoother ride once paired with the heavy-duty suspension needed for high-speed pursuit. In the 1967 version, the 425 cubic inch engine produced around 375 horsepower. By 1968 through 1970, Oldsmobile switched to the 455 cubic inch W33, rated at 390 horsepower, sold under the package name Apprehender Highway Patrol. 1967 was the exact year the California Highway Patrol briefly stepped away from Dodge to run the Delmont 88, though it only lasted that single year before the agency went back to more familiar names. For collectors today, an original Delmont 88 Apprehender, complete with its distinctive white police spec steering wheel, is one of the hardest finds from the entire decade. The name 409 is better known from a Beach Boys rock and roll song than from any police department's purchase order, but this engine genuinely served in law enforcement through the early 1960s. The Biscayne and Bel Air of this era carried Chevrolet's no-frills styling, light-on trim, built to look like a work car rather than a show car. Inside sat simple cloth seats and a gauge cluster with nothing extra beyond what an officer needed to get through a long shift. The 409 cubic inch V8 came in several configurations. The single four-barrel version produced 400 horsepower, while the dual-quad setup reached as high as 425 horsepower, a number that outpaced almost every other police engine of the time. That said, the 425 horsepower dual-quad version was rarely ordered by actual police departments, even though it remained listed in Chevrolet's official police catalog for 1962 and 1963. Most real-world orders leaned toward the single carburetor setup, still plenty strong for the job, but easier to keep running for departments putting these cars through daily use. 425 gross horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. That's the factory number for the L72 427 cubic inch V8, the highest on this entire list, sitting under the hood of a sedan that looked like nothing special at all. There were no outward clues. The Biscayne and Bel Air from 1966 through 1970 kept Chevrolet's same stripped-down formula, dull fleet paint, nothing on the outside, giving away what was underneath. A true sleeper in the original sense of the word. This was the top engine in Chevrolet's entire lineup at the time, originally built for racing before finding its way into police orders in a handful of states. Despite weighing over 3,800 pounds, a Biscayne with the L72 could still run the quarter mile in the low 13-second range, a number that would have made plenty of smaller muscle cars nervous. The Washington State Patrol ran these 427 Biscaynes as slick-top patrol cars, and by all accounts from officers who drove them, the acceleration really did leave an impression. The catch is that very few of these cars were ever ordered with the L72, and no police agency ever put out an official top speed test for it. The 1969 Dodge Polara Pursuit is the only police car on this entire list that was actually taken to a track to record a real top speed, instead of settling for a number printed on a factory spec sheet. The result was 147 miles per hour. This car came from Chrysler's full-size C-body platform shared with the Monaco and the Plymouth Fury. On the outside, it carried the same sharp, muscular lines typical of late 60s Mopar. Under the frame sat a torsion bar suspension, the same setup that had built Chrysler's reputation in the police car business for nearly a decade by that point. Power came from the 440RB, engine code E86, factory rated anywhere from 350 to 375 horsepower depending on carburetor setup. In testing by the Michigan State Police, a 1969 Polara ran 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.3 seconds, cleared the quarter mile in 14.4 seconds at 98 miles per hour, and hit a top speed of 147 miles per hour at Chrysler's Chelsea test track. That number stood as the top speed record for a four-door police sedan for nearly 40 years until the Dodge Charger pursuit finally broke it in 2006. Still, plenty of police car historians remain skeptical of that 147 miles per hour figure. The original test report from the California Highway Patrol tells a different story, showing just 135 miles per hour after 2 miles of continuous acceleration, with the car reportedly still gaining speed when the test ended. With a 3.23 rear axle ratio fitted to the car, some skeptics argue the horsepower simply wasn't there to push the Polara past that 147 mark. Whatever the real number was, the Polara 440 remains the only police car from the entire 1960s that was ever taken out to an actual track to measure its top speed, rather than just leaving that number printed on an advertising brochure. Throughout the decade, American automakers raced to stuff as much horsepower as possible under the hood of sedans that looked like nothing special. But horsepower on paper is one thing, and real speed on a track is another. And only one name on this list ever proved the difference, even if the result is still argued about today. Collector values for these police cars have climbed sharply in recent years, especially for the ones that still carry their original police package configuration, a corner of the muscle car hobby that collectors overlooked for a long time. So, do you buy the 147 miles per hour number on the Polara? Or do you think it's a legend that got a little bigger with every retelling? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you enjoyed this one, hit like and subscribe for more police car stories coming your way.